Gracious God, we thank you for calling us here this day to celebrate and honor these December 2021 graduates from the College of Law. We pray your Spirit's presence to be with those who receive their degrees and their hoods. May our time together be directed by your hand, be filled with joyful smiles, with warm embrace, with touched hearts, and with solemn ritual. Today truly is a day of humble thanksgiving to you. To you, O God, for your guidance in bringing us to this place at this hour for this joyous time. To you, loving God, Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer, we pray. Amen. Be seated.
Good evening. Graduates, family, friends, colleagues, and honored guests. It's my honor to welcome you to the December 2021 TU College of Law pudding ceremony and to help you begin your celebrations for all that our grads have accomplished over their time as TU Law students. Graduates, you are 36 strong, and you will likely be remembered as part of a generation of TU lawyers coming of age in unprecedented times on many fronts. During your time at TU, Tulsa and Oklahoma have been the focus of national attention that highlights the importance of work we do as lawyers. The Supreme Court's decision in McGirt versus Oklahoma has opened up an important new area of jurisprudence and challenging legal problems that TU lawyers will continue to tackle and resolve for years to come. In May of this year, the centennial of the Tulsa race massacre, brought new light to both historical and present-day racial injustice that TU lawyers are working and will continue to work every day to challenge and overcome. Your time at TU has also been marked by national and international events involving lawyers and the law, including Supreme Court appointments, federal elections, the end of a decades-long war in Afghanistan, and a national reckoning with racial violence and injustice. And of course, there was COVID. Your professional education has been defined in significant part by whole new ways of learning, communicating, and interacting. You have succeeded in law school despite social distancing, lockdowns, quarantines, masking, Zooming, and sanitizing nonstop. You have formed study groups and forged friendships with classmates across video cams and social media. And the COVID pandemic continues to cause disruption in both the practice of law and legal education. Fortunately, lawyers and law students are expert problem solvers. So you found ways to adapt and continued to do great work despite the pandemic challenges. This experience has prepared you well for 21st century law practice. These shared experiences at TU, together with your unique life experiences and interests before and during law school, represent the boundless possibilities of a TU education and will enable you, like all TU lawyers before you, to collectively uphold the highest standards of the profession. So a little about you. Before enrolling at TU, you earned undergraduate and other degrees from the University of Oklahoma, Oklahoma State University, Northeastern State, the University of Arkansas, Rogers State University. Feel free to shout out when you hear your school. Dartmouth, Baylor, Vanderbilt, Northwestern, Georgia Southwestern and Georgia Southern, Austin College, Sam Houston State University, the University of Alaska, the University of South Dakota, Oral Roberts University, the University of Florida and Florida State, Wichita State University, the American Military University, undergrad institutions. Among your classmates, you will find some who have experience as wide-ranging as realtors, phlebotomists, landmen, a cheerleading coach, a Spanish interpreter, AmeriCorps volunteers, Peace Corps volunteers, a nurse practitioner, a child welfare investigator, a real estate appraiser, a pastor, veterans, National Guardsmen, a classical pianist or two, and a music teacher. While at the College of Law, you have taken advantage of a diverse array of experiential learning opportunities, exposing you to many practice settings and areas of law, from criminal law to family law to estate planning to energy and environmental law to intellectual property and cyber law. You have worked in private law firms, big and small, in government settings, and in nonprofit and legal services organizations. Here is just a sampling of what you have accomplished as law students. Many of you participated in the Commutation Project with Oklahomans for Criminal Justice Reform and the Tulsa County Public Defender, providing life-changing representation to clients serving excessive sentences for nonviolent drug crimes. Others have participated in expungement fairs, DACA renewal clinics, and naturalization clinics to help give others a chance to build their own American dream. You have supported survivors of domestic violence and human trafficking through placements at Domestic Violence Intervention Services, the Demand Project, and the Family Violence Unit of the Montgomery County, Texas District Attorney's Office. You have had firsthand experience of our court system through judicial externships with judges sitting in county, state, and federal courts in Oklahoma and beyond. You have pursued your interest in energy, environmental, and natural resources law through placements at Chesapeake Energy, Grand River Dam Authority, and the Williams Company. You have explored the rewards of a career in public service through placements with the Oklahoma Attorney General, the Tulsa County Public Defender, and the Tulsa County District Attorney, the Oklahoma Department of Human Services Child Support Unit, and the Tulsa Housing Authority. Finally, many of you served clients through one of our clinical programs. In the Terry West Civil Legal Clinic, several of you advocated for an end to incarceration for failure to pay court fees and costs, and for more just housing and eviction court processes. In the Immigrant Rights Project, you represented immigrant victims of persecution and domestic violence and rallied to the aid of 850 Afghan refugees resettled in Tulsa after fleeing persecution at home. In the Public Defender Clinic, you literally won freedom for individuals who were serving excessive sentences for nonviolent drug crimes. To be sure, many of these experiences were impacted in some way by the COVID pandemic, but that didn't stop any of you from making the most of these experiences and doing what the best lawyers do: adapting, problem solving, and persisting. And you didn't stop there. You were deeply involved in the law school and the Tulsa community, giving back and making connections. Again, your diverse interests and talents are reflected in these extracurricular endeavors, including membership and leadership positions in the Energy Law Journal, Women's Law Caucus, Public Interest Board, the Immigration Law Society, BALSA, NALSA, Paw Law, the Health Law Society, the Sports and Entertainment Law Society. In fact, one of you is the founder and president of the Sports and Entertainment Law Society. The Board of Advocates, REALS, Resource, Energy, and Environmental Law Society. Business Law Society, Phi Alpha Delta and Delta Theta Phi, the Student Bar Association, and the Government and Military Law Society. So you weren't just sitting around in your Zoom room doing nothing. Your commitment to giving back went beyond the TU campus, and you shared your limited time and treasure with Tulsa Reading Partners, CASA, the Oklahoma Foundation for the Disabled, the Little River Zoo, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Oklahoma, Little Lighthouse, German Shepherd Rescue, Paws for Paws, Tulsa Animal Rescue. We got a lot of animal lovers in this group. and Tulsa Lawyers for Children. In everything you accomplished over your time at TU College of Law, you have exemplified the commitment to excellence and to service that are the hallmarks of a TU lawyer. And today you stand on the threshold of the legal profession, and let me assure you, you've got this. You have done more than survive. You have done more than survive law school in the midst of a global pandemic. You have excelled and thrived despite unprecedented challenges. So today is a day of celebration of you and your journey to this day. And I urge you to each take stock of the feeling of joy and satisfaction that come from a job well done. I also invite you right now to stand up and extend your thanks and love to those who have stood beside you and supported you through this journey. Your spouses, parents, children, and other friends and family who have given you the space and time to devote to this endeavor. Please rise and turn, and let's show these folks how much we appreciate them with your loudest applause, hoots, and hollers. Your hooding today is not the end. It is just the beginning. You stand ready to join the generations of outstanding TU lawyers who are committed to excellence and to giving back to the profession and the community. I have confidence in each and every one of you that you will dedicate yourselves over the coming months to preparing for the bar exam, as you have done during your time here at TU. I know you will succeed because you are TU lawyers and you know how to get things done. It is now my honor and pleasure to introduce our hooding ceremony speaker for the evening, President Brad Carson, the University of Tulsa's 21st president. Having built a distinguished career in public service, law, and education, President Carson was a professor at the University of Virginia, teaching courses related to national security and public sector innovation before becoming our president. In 2015, President Barack Obama appointed President Carson acting Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness at the U.S. Department of Defense. There, he oversaw the human resources, military readiness, education, training, and healthcare of nearly 5 million service members, civilian employees, and their dependents within the Department of Defense, and managed an internal organization of 30,000 employees. Prior to that, President Carson served as the Undersecretary of the U.S. Army, where he managed the daily operations of the largest military service, and as General Counsel of the U.S. Army, where he oversaw the service's worldwide legal operations. In 2008, he was deployed during Operation Iraqi Freedom as an intelligence officer and was awarded the Bronze Star for his service. From 2001 to 2005, President Carson served 2 terms as a U.S. Congressman representing Oklahoma's 2nd District. President Carson is widely published and is a noted authority on national security, energy policy, and American politics. President Carson brings to TU a strong commitment to diversity and inclusion, having spent most of his career working directly or indirectly in this area. This interest arises naturally from his childhood growing up on Indian reservations around the country and later representing the congressional district that is home to the Cherokee Nation. He served as president and chief executive officer of Cherokee Nation Businesses, where he refocused the organization's corporate strategy and governance and significantly increased revenues. President Carson received his BA from Baylor University and was a Rhodes Scholar at the University of Oxford. And he received his law degree from the University of Oklahoma. He is the first lawyer to serve as president of the University of Tulsa. And we are proud to claim Julie Carson, President Carson's wife, as an alumna of the TU College of Law. We are indeed fortunate to have Brad Carson as the 21st president of the University of Tulsa. Please join me in welcoming him to the podium.
Thank you, Dean McCormick. And as she was saying, I have only been here a few months. This is the first graduation ceremony I've had the privilege of attending. And I've learned one thing, if nothing else. It is that my predecessor, Stedman Uppen, whose gown I wear today, happened to be 6 foot 8 inches tall. And his head was at least 3 to 4 inches broader in circumference than my own. And so as I leave here today, I recognize that I'm going to have to find some new attire for events, particularly like this. It's really a pleasure for me to be here tonight. I am enormously grateful to Dean McCormick for her leadership, to the faculty who have been a vital part of the education of our graduates today, to the family, the friends, the loved ones who make success in law school possible. I too join in again thanking you for your enormous support. Congratulations are due to all of you who are graduating here today. Fulfilling the degree of to become a lawyer is an arduous, difficult, and intense process. And as you move on into a professional career of law, you will find that it too remains an arduous, difficult, and challenging process for you. I'm often reminded of a story I read many years ago about the radical lawyer William Kunstler. Perhaps some of you may remember him if you can recall the history of the 1960s. More recently, he was portrayed in the Aaron Sorkin penned movie about the trial of the Chicago 7. He was famous in his day for representing a wide range of deeply unpopular, highly politicized causes. In a more reflective moment, William Kunstler was once asked what influenced him the most, or what he thought about a lot as he engaged in these challenging trials that people followed so closely. And he said that, somewhat strangely, that a profound influence upon him was that statue by Michelangelo of David. Perhaps some of you may recall it from your own education. It's often taught even in junior high, high school. In art history, it is in Italy today, of kind of the naked David as he prepares for his fight with the giant Goliath. And Kunstler was asked, well, what particularly did he find moving about that? And he said that it was, in his research at least, the only representation of David in all of Western art history before the fight actually occurred. The rest of famous art, such as Donatello's bronze of David, or the many representations of David in pictorial art, were after the fight had occurred. He was often holding the bloodied, severed head of the giant Goliath. But this painting, Kunstler said, showed him as he was contemplating whether he should engage in this fight at all. He's reaching down toward his sack of stones that Kunstler could imagine him collecting over time, waiting for a moment like this, and contemplating, is this really a fight I should be involved in? Do I dare to move forward? Kunstler found apparently some solace in thinking about that, about perhaps the questions one asks themselves before jumping into controversy, before stepping up to some kind of great challenge. I too find it a powerful metaphor for being a lawyer in life. I myself, as the dean was saying, am a lawyer. I kind of came to it naturally. My family comes from a small town in eastern Oklahoma called Stillwell. My mother from a still smaller unincorporated community called Piney, 10 miles from Stillwell, where she grew up on the Indian allotment that her own parents had been given by the federal government. She was a broad-minded, very intelligent woman, even if she wasn't well educated herself. My older brother and I were told from a very young age that she would support us in whatever career we were to choose. She would be our most unabashed adorer and supporter, so long as those careers were either doctor or lawyer. My brother, being 4 years older, chose to be a doctor. That left me to be a lawyer. But maybe she intuited that I had certain gift for gab, or a love of argumentation, or an interest in the wider world around me, and that perhaps, unlike my brother, the law was a field, at least in her mind, that would bring me some fulfillment, some happiness, and where maybe my natural aptitudes could find some place to flourish. And in that, she was quite right. I was also given another gift by them because, as the dean said, we moved around small town to small town, Indian reservation to Indian reservation. My father, who was a cowboy, a rancher, he couldn't quite make it, so he became an agricultural extension agent and got a job with the Bureau of Indian Affairs. And so I was born out on the Navajo reservation. And we moved place to place until they retired. At age 15, we came back to Oklahoma. But the gift they gave me was this. Living a middle-class life, it is often easy to forget how important the law is. Even in my day-to-day life as president of the University of Tulsa, or when I was working for the U.S. Army, even when I was in the U.S. Congress, my interactions with the law were often more theoretical than practical. The police weren't arresting me. I wasn't worried about bail. I wasn't filing for Social Security disability. The web of regulation and law, well, I was affecting it in my way, but it didn't affect me that much. But I saw growing up and later in Congress that I'm very fortunate and privileged to be someone who didn't have to care about those kinds of things, because there are so many people for whom regulation, law, complicated policy decisions, arbitrary administrative decisions determine life outcomes. And I have never forgot that. When I began practicing law, I was at a large law firm here in Tulsa. And my wife was going to what was then night school at the University of Tulsa. We went to the same high school. We met at the University of Oklahoma before she transferred over here. I spent a lot of my time doing pro bono work for indigent clients, sometimes criminal defendants, sometimes who had petty civil disputes, all of which were, well, in the scheme of things to a large law firm, quite trivial, but in the lives of the people I was representing were enormously important, things that could change their very destiny for good or for ill. That is maybe what my mom recognized so many years ago about what the power of law can do. It is not an arbitrary body of legal principles, although it is that in part. It is a web of pattern and practice that governs the very way we live. And it's enormously important. And if it isn't affecting your daily life, then that is a source of particular privilege to you. But there are so many people it isn't. And that being a lawyer is a unique calling, like being a doctor. For my mom, I think, knew that being a lawyer and a doctor wasn't simply the passport to a middle-class life, although herself, growing up quite poor, that was no doubt important. She had a sense that it was a way of helping other people, both of those professions, of making a difference in some small way, maybe in large ways too, but that you could help other people. And that is what being a lawyer is. But when you are a lawyer, no matter whether you practice criminal defense or in the civil arena, or perhaps you're like my wife today, a proud graduate of TU who does government policy law, where she works at the Pentagon, handling all of military sexual assault for the U.S. military. There's so many ways to be a lawyer, but all of them are ways of challenging yourself and stepping up into controversies that have important existential stakes for the parties who are involved. That's, I think, what Kunstler was talking about when he imagined Michelangelo's David, pensive, contemplating, wondering whether he had the courage, the technical skills to meet the challenges that were given to him. I, too, love that idea, because what we provide you here at the University of Tulsa, what your education gives you, is that sack of stones, some rough, some smooth, that you will reach into when you yourself confront the Goliaths of this world. For the truth is, no matter where you go, wherever you make your home, you will find many giants that challenge you and that someone is asking you to slay. And I hope that you remember where those stones came from here, from the faculty, from your peers, from the people at the University of Tulsa, from your family and friends who supported you, because you need to step up to those challenges as they go forward. And as you move out into this difficult world we live in today, there are so many giants that immediately come to mind. Whether you care about the environment or social justice, women's rights or children's rights, whether you care about international law. There are so many issues out there that not all of them will confront any of you, but some of them will confront all of you. And I hope you remember that we gave you, well, the ammunition to go out and succeed. So congratulations to you, the graduates. Congratulations to the faculty who have taught you, to the family and friends who have made it possible. I hope you go out and slay giants of your own finding. Have a great day. Congratulations. And we look forward to seeing the great things you do.
We will now begin the hooding of the graduates.
Graduates on the first row, if you would come forward. The following graduates are receiving the Juris Doctorate degree. Katie Griffin. Carla Snell. Libby Moore. Paige Lavoie. Kyle Matthew Trice. Rebecca Clater. Megan Warren. Savannah Mendenhall. Lena Glenn. Holly Hayes. Alexandria Cherie Clemens Alexander. Brandon Alexander Keaton. Laura Medlock. Jessica Hogel. Christine Atkinson. Mackenzie Gibson. Macy Wallace. Drew Matthews. James Bissett. David Cox. Joseph Dowdell. Marina Wise. John Rubottom. Cole Way. Garrett Maxey. Ashley Ailey. Alyssa LaCourse. Bria Bennett. Haley Lutz. Taya Batin. Lauren Beatty. Our next students are receiving the Master of Jurisprudence in Indian Law. Yvonne Hummingbird. Colette Hayworth. Michelle Plummer.
Let's give one more round of applause. I was told this came off. I was said that if I was going to walk in front, I needed to use it. So you're amazing. I want to see the minister and the cheerleading coach. Ah, of course. Absolutely. You know, I always enjoy being here and doing the charge of benediction, particularly in December, because it's a time of humility. It's a time of service. As President Carson mentioned, well, it was a great address, and give him another hand, would you? As we come into the season of service and humility, we must be mindful that we are like David, naked. We really come in with a sense that we're not in charge. It's not about us, but it's about who we serve. His was to serve a Lord that said, you will be successful if you do it this way. Well, you serve the law. The first thing you serve is the law. As you come to the bench, you serve the law. It is that which is most important. Next is your client. Because in doing so for both, you serve this city, you serve this state, you serve this country, you serve this world. Because you humble yourself before that which makes us equal, for that which gives us great freedom, for that which is one of the most inspiring in the whole world, that of law. As you leave this day, bear that in mind. Bear it in mind that in this season of service, you have a great service to perform. In many ways, you come humbly before the bench, humbly before the bar, humbly to address wrongs, to assure rights, and to make sure that each and every person is valued and this country is valued by your service. Now may you go in the humility of this season, and may the Lord completely hold your heart so that when you serve for no one else but the Lord and the law. Go now in the peace of God who created us, God who sustains us, and God who carries us in all we do. Congratulations.